Okay. That's some old tape. Make sure you give that back. It's worth something one day. Is he ready? You ready? Ready?
No.
I think we're going to give the gifts down there, so just leave it in that bench.
Aida, ida. Didida, ida, ida. Aida, ida. Didida, ida, ida. Aida, ida. Didida, ida, ida. Aida, ida. Idida, da, 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 ida. Aida, ida. Idida, da, da. Aida, ida. Idida, da, da. Ida. Aida, ida. Idida, da, da. Ida. Aida, ida. Idida, da, da. Ida. Aida, ida. Idida, da, da. Aida, ida, ida. Idida, da, da. Ida. Aida, ida. Idida, da, da. Aida, da, da, da.
Shabbat shalom, everybody. Very nice. Thank you. It's good to see everybody today. My name is Rabbi Lawrence Rosenthal. This is Rabbi Sam Bleston. We are honored to be here. We are Aaron's rabbis, and we're really very thrilled to have you all here to be part of this very, very special day. Just a couple notes. We're going to be using for most of the service this blue book. So hopefully you have one. If you don't, you slipped by our ushers. Good job. That's pretty hard to do because they were passing these out. If you need one, please go back and grab one. We're going to begin on page 226. But I want to note, I know this is always a little unusual. We're in the moment of holiness. We're still in the time of Shabbat. And so what would be most meaningful, especially for Aaron, is if we could really be present. We could really be here. It took a while to get here, and we are glad that you are here. But the question is, are you here? So we have things in life that distract us, our concerns, our worry from close and afar, all the different things. But the biggest thing that distracts us the most lives in our pocket. Y'all know what I mean? So do me a favor, please, and just make sure that those are off. You don't need to look at them. You don't need to snap pictures. We got all that taken care of. And now if you are a bit older and you're saying, he's talking to the kids. I'm not. The kids know how to use their phones. So let's make sure everything is off so we could really be here, because this is a really important time, not only for our community, but also for Aaron as well. So having us here in present and spirit and body is going to make all the difference. To get us started on this very special day, couldn't think of a better way to get our holiness together than with big brother Izzy leading us in the Ashrae. This is a big moment for me because I haven't heard him do this since his bar mitzvah. So I'm very excited. Come on up, Izzy, please. Page 226, Izzy will lead us in the Ashrae.
For those who are joining us online, you can find the PDF of the Siddur on the homepage of our website. Underneath the Shabbat afternoon service, you'll find it there.
Ashrae Vetecha, Od Yahalum Hasela,
Ashream Shekachalo, Ashream Shadonai Eloha.
Tehillah David, Aramimcha Elohai HaMelech, Baracha Shimcha Leolam Vaed,
Bechol Yom Avarcheka, V'halal Shimcha Leolam Vaed.
Gadol Adonai Umhula Me'od, Veligdulato In Cheker,
Dor Ledor Yeshevach Maasecha, Ugvurotecha Yagidu.
Hadar Kavod Hodecha, V'divrei Niflotecha Asicha,
Ve'zuz Merotecha Yomeru, Ugdulatcha Asaprena.
Zecher Rav Tucha Yobiu, V'tzikacha Yeranenu,
Chanun Barachum Adonai, Erech HaPaim Gdol Chesed.
Tov Adonai L'Kol, V'rachaman Al Kol Ma'asav,
Yoducha Adonai Kol Maasecha, V'chasidecha Yevarchucha.
Kavod Malchutecha Yomeru, Ugduratcha Yedaberu,
Lehodia Livnei Adam Gevurotav, וכבוד הדר מלכותו.
מלכותך מלכות כל עולמים, ממשלתך בכל דור ודור.
סומך אדוני לכל הנופלים, וזוקף לכל הכפופים.
שונא כל אליך ישברו, ואתה נותן להם את אכלם בעיתו.
פותח את ידיך ומשביע לכל חי רצון.
צדיק אדוני בכל דרכיו, וחסי בכל מעשיו.
קרוב אדוני לכל קוריו, לכל אשר יקראו באמת.
רצון ירצה ויעשה, ואת שבתיים ישמיד ויושיעים.
שומר אדוני את כל אוהביו, ואת כל רשעים ישמיד.
תהילת אדוני ידבר פיו, יברך כל בשר שם קודשו לעולם ועד.
ואנחנו נברך יה, מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה.
ואנחנו נברך יה מעתה ועד עולם, הללויה.
Great job, Izzy. You get to keep your bar mitzvah certificate. Good job. Middle of 227, ובא לציון.
ובא לציון, גואל ושבי פשע ביעקב נאום אדוני, ואני זרעתי אותם ואתה קדוש יושב תהילות ישראל, וכרזל זה ויאמר, קדוש קדוש קדוש, אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. קדישה,
ענה אלוהי אברהם יצחק וישראל אבותינו.
ותישאני רוח ושמח אחרי קורש גדול, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. ותתן ירוחה בשמי פטרי וזה. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא ציון. איך יפתח ליבנו בתור דבזון. יראה צפנך, ויפתחו וחיודי שמך, כי לא עזבת דורשך אדוני. אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה וידיר.
I want to invite up Bob and Susan to take their place on either side of the ark while Aaron will lead us in the Hatzi Kaddish, page 229.
Yekadal v'yekadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'almad v'rak yiruteh v'yamlich malchuteh. V'chayachon v'yomechon v'chayideko beit Yisrael. Ba'galav v'zman kari v'yimeru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach.
Le'olam
le'olam Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalah. Thank you. Shmei dekudasham
Brichu.
Let me love min kol birchata v'shirata.
Tushbecha.
V'necha
Damiran be'alma.
v'yimeru.
Please rise, the ark is opened.
ואני תפילתי לך, אדוני את רצון, אלוהים ברוב חסדך, ענני באמת לפשעך. ויהי בנשוא אהרון, ויאמר משה, קומה אדוני ויפוצו אויביך, וינוסו משנאיך מפניך, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים, ברוך שנתן תורה לעמו ישראל, בקדושתו.
I want to invite up Gene and Gary Jackson up to the bima.
Toratenu hi kedosha. Our Torah is holy, the strongest symbol of God's presence among us. As grandparents and parents pass this Torah scroll to their children, midor lidor, from one generation to the next, may all of them sense the loving presence of the divine. גדלו לאדוני איתי ונרוממה שמו יחדיו. לך אדוני הגדולה והגבורה והתפארת והנצח וההוד, כי כל בשמיים ובארץ, לך אדוני הממלכה והמנשא לכל לראש. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו לאדום רגליו קדוש הוא. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. Torah, 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 ציווה לנו משה. מורשה קהילת יעקב, מורשה קהילת יעקב, מורשה קהילת יעקב. Torah ציווה לנו משה.
Please be seated. You won't find our reading in this blue book, unfortunately, is one of the editorial mistakes that they made in making the book, but we get the opportunity to hear the chanting that Aaron will do along with his dad, Gary. We are beginning a new book, which is, I think, appropriate for this moment. We're beginning not just a new chapter, but a whole new book, the Book of Vayikra, the center book of our 5 books of Moses, and this contains the Holiness Code. This is all about how we create a space of holiness, and so much of it not only relies on the rituals we do, but the ethical behavior in which we live. And this is the crux of what we are here today. This is the crux of what Aaron is doing with his life, with the Torah he'll be sharing over this service and in the life that he lives. So we're honored to have him reading as we make our way through the Torah service.
ותגלה המלכותו לנו בזמן קרוב יחום פליטתנו ופליטת עמו בישראל לכנו חסד רחמים רצון ונאמר אמן. הכל עבור גדולנו כבוד לתורה יעמוד label ben common בהינדי לעלייה הראשון ברוך שתן תורה לעם ישראל בקדושתו ואתם אביקים עליכם חיים כולכם היום.
You ready, Granddad? Oh, here's that.
Baruch Hanam Baruch
Amen. Amen. Vayikra el Moshe. Vayder be'Adonai elav. Meo helma wade lemor. Daber el b'nei Yisrael v'martav elhem. Adam ki akriv mikem korban ladonai. Min havhama min habakar min hatson. Takivu et korban kem. Imola korbano min habakar. Sahar tamid yakriv venu. El petach. Oh, helma wadi yakrivoto, lurtsano, lifnodonai, visamach yado, al rosha ola, vineyard sach, lo faper alav.
Amen.
That was great.
Yamdu Gershon ben Kaman Valeya V'Yachena Gitlabat label V'Hindi Yisrael Moshe ben Gershon V'Shena Sheni. We're now on page 588 in your Chumash. 588. Verse 5.
If you left it in the right spot. No, he has not. You will. I did it ready. Where is it? Are you ready? I'm ready. Baruch hu et Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam.
Baruch atah Baruch Le'olam Voed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Olam. Asher bo karbanu mikol hamim. Nosan lanu Torah emes. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'shachat et ben habokar lifnei Adonai v'hikrivu. B'nei Aharon haKohanim et Hadam. V'zarku et Hadam al hamizbeach saviv. Asher petak ohel moed. V'hishid et haolah. V'nitach otach lintachecha. V'natnu. B'nei Aharon haKohen eish. Al Alathisea. We are ku eitzim halaesh. We are ku b'nei Aharon haKohanim et Anatachim et harosh v'et hapader al ha'etzim asher halaesh asher al hamizbeach yirkubo ukrav yirkatz b'mayim v'tikir haKohen et hakol hamizbeach olah isei reach nikoach l'Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam asher nosan lanu Torah emet hayei olam notav v'cheinu. Baruch atah Adonai nosein haTorah.
Amen. Ya'amod habachur habar mitzvah Anshel Yitzchak ben Gershon b'Shena maftir chazak chazak chazak. We are now on chapter 1, verse 10, page 589.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamorah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamorah Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam. Asher baharbanu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'min hatzon korbano min hakasavim. Oh, min ha'ezim le'olah. Zahar tamim yakrivenu. V'shachat oto al yarek al mizbeach safana lifnei Adonai. V'zareku b'nei Aharon hakohanim et damo al mizbeach saviv. V'nichtach oto lintachav v'resho v'yepidro v'acharach hakohen otam al esim asher le'esh shal mizbeach. V'hakerev v'hakraim v'kitzbo mayim v'yikariv hakohen etzakol v'yiktir hamizbeha olahu ishe reini koach l'Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'chayei olam natan b'tilchenu. Baruch atah Adonai notein haTorah.
Amen.
We sing Mazel Tov,
Tov.
Siman Tov.
Mazel Tov. Israel.
Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Yehelanu, Yehelanu, Ulechol Yisrael.
As we cover the Torah, we'll be with the Izzy, keep that seat. Oh boy, we have a few presentations to offer. Mom and Dad, can you come on back up? Rabbi Blessing is going to offer you a family blessing. Izzy, why don't you stay too? You're part of the family. And if you guys will do a family sandwich, so Aaron in the middle, and you guys squeeze him in the middle.
Okay, to stay together. It's so wonderful to celebrate with all of you today. And really a privilege as we start this new book of the Torah. As Rabbi Rosenthal mentioned, we start this section, which is talks about how we build communities of holiness. And Aaron, as you know, your parents do a lot of creating boundaries for you in your own life. Just like we have in our Torah reading, it takes boundaries, it takes rules in order to create spaces where God's presence can dwell in. And so too, it takes rules and norms of a family in order to create spaces that are safe and that we can grow in. But there's a really kind of beautiful piece that we begin to read that actually your dad read this afternoon, where it talks about not Aaron doing things in the Mishkan that's just been consecrated, but actually it's Aaron's sons, B'nai Aharon, who come in with this fire, who come in with these sticks and create this scent which is pleasing for God. And it's really in this moment too, and the moment of Bar Mitzvah, where you become in charge of your own Judaism. You become in charge of your own spaces, not maybe entirely, but you begin to have your own authority over how you shape and how you create holy space yourself. And you pass down from your parents to you. So I want to offer you a blessing that in everything that you do, that you continue to light that fire. You add those eitzim, those sticks onto the flame, which has been passed down from your parents to you each and every day of your life.
Amen. As parents and brother go take their seat, Aaron is going to offer us some words of Torah that he has been developing as he studied and learned for this very special day.
We're going to go sit down, but we're just going to fix this round.
Intermission. More intermission.
Okay.
End of intermission. Okay. Yeah, good evening. I want to thank all of you for coming here tonight. Really nice and heartwarming seeing a lot of the people in my life here in one place. So thank you. For those who don't know, the Torah portion that I read from tonight is from the beginning of the Book of Leviticus. My Torah portion, and in fact, much of the Book of Leviticus talks about the sacrifice of animals. One of the questions that I had in mind while reading my portion with my dad was, why did our ancestors engage in animal sacrifice? Why were the Israelites commanded to sacrifice a form of life for God, especially when God didn't like taking away human life? To start, animal sacrifices are documented as having happened during the time when the first and second temples stood in Jerusalem. During these times, animals were considered a big necessity. They were used as transportation, army assets, and food. So why were they used as sacrifices? Why was something that is considered so radical today part of being Jewish? Do we still make sacrifices? So let's get into the reason or reasons why the Jews made sacrifices. It's a very unclear answer to a lot of people. Even the most well-respected rabbis in the world will give you different answers to this question. So what is my answer? Let's start in the Torah. In my portion, the word korban is used to mean sacrifice. And what does korban really mean? It comes from the Hebrew root word, which means close. Making a korban, a sacrifice, meant getting closer to God. But what does it mean to get closer to God? Why were the Israelites who did sacrifices thinking about when they wanted to be closer to God? While we aren't 100% sure, we know that they always wanted to, and and we still want to make God happy. When we celebrate the Jewish holidays, follow God's commandments, and keep kosher, that makes God happy. So the reason that people in the Torah did animal sacrifices might have been because they believed God told them to do it and they wanted to please God. In their eyes, God said, hey, do animal sacrifices for me. And they did. Now, the question is, what sacrifices do we make today? We don't do animal sacrifices anymore. So what do we do now? I believe everyone here can all state examples of sacrifices they've had to make over their lives. Reasons, vary, of course, could be to protect others from obstacles out of our control, for greater good of everyone around us as well. Whatever the reason is, everyone here has made a sacrifice at one point or another. While a sacrifice may not always be what people have in mind, it is usually done for the betterment of others. And that is the most important thing here. While your outcome of a sacrifice or any other action for that matter may not be what was intended with its results, the motivation and reason behind it is the most important thing. It can speak a lot about your character and how you interact with the world around you. Sacrifices contribute to us as human beings because of how they can affect us. They can show us if someone truly thinks. It can illustrate for us what a person is willing to give up for the people around them. Making a sacrifice, no matter how tough or easy it is to do, is human. A bar mitzvah involves a lot of help from others in order to get to that milestone. There are some folks here that I would like to thank tonight, as it would have been a lot harder to be here without their support. To the teachers I have had over the years, you all have been wonderful teachers and mentors to me. You all have given me the knowledge, help, experience, personality that have made me succeed. Thanks a lot. Thank you so much. To Jenny and Janine, I have known you both as long as I can remember. You two have taught me new things about the world and always were there for my time of need. I don't know where I would be today if it wasn't for you both. To Rabbi Rosenthal, Rabbi Sandler, who is joining us digitally tonight, Rabbi Bluston, and Jordan Foreman, you four have helped contribute to making AA one of the best synagogues around. You four have also helped me throughout the bar mitzvah process and have given me words and statements that have made me think and inspired me. I cannot thank you enough. To Ms. Lipschutz, without you, being here tonight would have been a lot harder. I'm so glad to have you as my bar mitzvah tutor. Let's see. You've helped me study, we've cracked jokes, and we studied some more. Thank you so much for help, making this possible. To the Wallaces, you all have been so helpful to me and my family. Cleo, I'm so glad to be your friend, man, and you're so funny, nice, and fun to be around. You guys, best neighbors I can ask for. Thank you. To Jack, Mark, Uncle Brian, Aunt Lanny, you all have been amazing. Jack and Mark, you've done great things. Jack, he's doing baseball right now, and Mark's sophomore at UGA. It's really great. Uncle Brian, Aunt Lanny, you guys have also been amazing. You've always been there for the family, always been there whenever we need help, or just giving us words and advice, and you guys have just done a lot for us. Thank you so much. Love you guys. To Mima and Granddaddy. Mima is joining in tonight from Augusta. She couldn't make the trip. Granddaddy is right here. You guys are the best grandparents, honestly, anyone could ask for. Your wisdoms and stories have always stuck with me. You both love me and Izzy so much. You would both do anything for us, and I would do anything for you both. While a lot has happened last couple of years, you both have unbreakable spirits. Love you both so much. To Mom, Dad, and Izzy. Mom, you have done everything in your power to make this bar mitzvah happen. Thanks so much. You're someone who is a lot of fun to be around. You would do anything for the people around you. Quality not many people possess. I can say without a doubt that you would do anything for me and I would do anything for you. Love you. To Dad, you have given me a lot to learn, and you do anything in your power so that we, me and Izzy and Mom have a good life. You've introduced me to so many amazing people that are here tonight and have gotten me into so many hobbies. If I'm ever interested in doing something, you always support me doing it. If I ever feel down or, ever fail, you always are there to help me get back up. I love you. Izzy, hey man, you're the best brother anyone can have. You care so much about me, Mom and Dad. If I ever need help, you are always there for me to get me to where I need to be. I don't know where I'd be without you, bro. I love you. Glad to have you guys as a family and love you all so much. With that, let's get back to the service. Yeah. A lot of words.
You did a great job.
Thanks.
Stay right here, Aaron. It's going to go on a little longer. We have a couple presentations that we want to make. We're going to be hearing from Aaron's mom and dad, but first I want to have our sisterhood co-president come share some gifts and words, then followed by our executive vice president, Gary Olimbic. Stay right here. Let me take your paper. Thanks.
Hi, Aaron.
Hey.
How are you feeling?
Okay, it's really nice. Yeah, a little nervous, but it's going pretty good.
All the hard part is done. All the hard work you just put in, you presented it all so beautifully and did an excellent job.
Thank you so much.
A+. I mean it. That was one of the best Devar Torahs I've ever heard. Their delivery was flawless.
I'm very touched.
Well done.
Thank you so much.
And so I've known you for 13 years now, or
Something like
14
that,
years,
yeah.
ever since you were about 2 years old, something like that. So I'm very honored and pleased to present to you on behalf of Sisterhood this beautiful tzedakah box.
Oh, wow. No, seriously, thank you. This is really nice.
So that you will always remember in your heart that giving tzedakah, giving charity is an incredibly important value.
Definitely.
And also to present to you this certificate of a tree that was planted in your honor in Israel. Also to remind you that your connection to Israel and the Jewish people there. And maybe you can make it to Israel and just try and find that tree with your name on it sometime.
Well, it's on the to-do list now, so
All right.
thank you so much. This means a lot to me. This is a very nice gift. Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much.
I'll just put it back in the bag for now.
All right, thank you so much.
Well, good evening. How are you?
I feel pretty good.
You should. Amazing, amazing job. So I want to begin by extending a big mazel tov to you, mom and dad, and of course your brother Izzy. And I know we've talked about this before. Making this presentation is really meaningful to me. For many, many years, your mom and dad and your family sat in front of my family, probably, for 20 some odd years. During the high holidays. So we have spent many high holidays together. And I have to tell you, when I first met you, you were this tall and Izzy was this tall. So you've turned into this amazing, amazing young man. I want to thank you for lifting our spirits and inspiring us with your Devar Torah and Torah this evening. I've had the privilege of working with you at the Atlanta Community Food Bank and of course our quarterly blood drives. And I'm just amazed at your compassion, your love for people, your empathy for people. Your volunteer work and compassion for others is really an example of the modern day sacrifices that you were referring to in your Devar Torah. You have made sacrifices for others, mitzvahs, good deeds, and you've made a difference in the lives of others. It is with great honor that I present to you this Kiddush cup. And I'm confident that you and your family will share many very special occasions with this Kiddush cup. And as you embark on this new chapter in your life, please know that your AA family will be here for you and your family. Mazel tov. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Now let's invite his parents.
It's okay.
That's good.
Oh, you come closer. We've been waiting a long time. Come on a little closer.
All right.
Aaron, you are the rainbow in our lives. You always have been. I've always been fascinated with rainbows and absolutely giddy when I see one. Rainbows remind me of you and how you travel through life. When we see one, we all take notice with amazement and glee. You bring the joy and color and fascination to our lives. You always find a different take on what most of us don't see, and you bring a new perspective with depth and clarity. You have an instinct about life that is so deep and thoughtful, and you leave us in amazement, just like the rainbow. And like that rainbow, you enhance all our lives with your bright, bold, and beautiful colors. There is nothing beyond your reach, Aaron. You have shown us this consistently since you were a little boy. I simply cannot count the number of times I have had someone say to me, Aaron is an old soul. And that dates back to kindergarten. It's true and evident in how you live your life. Kindness and empathy live deep within your soul. This is who you are. You have the determination, intelligence, and wit to find your way. You never give up, and you constantly find humor in a situation. You have given us more love and appreciation for what is unique and precious in this world. This is a special time in your life. We all know how important it is for you to achieve this milestone. You have been so engaged in the process of becoming a bar mitzvah. 5 years ago, you said to Dad and I that you wanted to meet Rabbi Sandler and Rosenthal to talk about what it means to become a bar mitzvah. You had questions and concerns. It wasn't just a matter of going through the rituals. You wanted to know why and how you could accomplish it. You had to find your meaning in the process. This is the beginning of your next journey as a young Jewish man in our community. I know how important community is to you. I have seen it in the way that you engage in volunteerism in Atlanta. You have given so much of your time and energy to so many great causes. And like you have said, I get back more than I give. Thank you for being the rainbow in all of our lives. You have brightened and enhanced our lives more than you will ever know. As your parents, we can truly say, we have found the pot of gold at the end of our rainbow.
Well, yeah.
Aaron Felix Jackson, we are so proud of you. Aaron, you were named for two beloved relatives who meant so much to Jean and me. Anshul, your mother's great uncle, and Abner, your father's great uncle. Both of these wonderful men's names start with the letter A, and you are doubly blessed. AA, Aaron. AA, you have advanced and achieved. AA, you have aspired and accomplished. AA, this very synagogue we're in this very chapel, your parents were married 25 years ago. You were the proverbial twinkle in our eyes, but that twinkle has become a star. There is no obstacle you cannot overcome and no goal you cannot reach. Aaron, for you, there is a future full of success. We have watched you grow through the years and are astonished. From speechless to eloquence, you continue to be a shining light that abounds in love and compassion. You are truly an old soul who knows no strangers, only friends you've yet to meet. Aaron, as an AA, you are an A+. But Felix? Felix? Why not?
It's not after the cat, by the way.
Felix means happiness, fortunate. And we are, all of us are. Aaron, you have brought happiness into our world. Aaron, we are fortunate to have you as a part of our family. Aaron, indeed, we are all blessed. Jean, Izzy, and I, and all of us here tonight, congratulate you not only on your bar mitzvah, but on so many mitzvahs to come. As the Kohanim priests stood in the front of ancient sanctuaries to bless their congregations generations ago, we say to you tonight, as they did long ago, live long and prosper.
Sorry.
No, I think we got a priest.
Beautiful. I want to now invite Brian and Lainey up to the Bima, who are going to help
Oh my
us
God, Brian.
Torah
I love
to service to a close with the wrapping and binding of the Torah. I'll ask you please to rise as the Torah scroll is lifted off of the reading table. As Dad Gary comes forward and takes hold of the Torah, we invite Mark and Jack Saul up to the ark to open it, as we'll conclude our Torah service, putting the Torah away in its holy ark.
Yehalelu et Shem Adonai, ki niskav shemo levado, hodo al eretz v'shamayim, vayarem keren le'amo, tila lechol chasidav, livnei Yisrael am karovo, hallelujah, leDavid mizmor, l'Adonai haaretz mloa, tevel ve'yoshvei v'ki, al yamin yesada ve'al neharot yechonin mea, mi ale v'har Adonai, umi akum bimkom kodsho, neki chapayim uvar levav, asher lo nasa v'shav nafshi, ve'lo nishva lemirva, yisav rachamei Adonai. Utstakam Elohei Isho Zedor Doshab Nevakshe Fanecha Yaakov Sela Zeu Shearim Rashechem V'nasu B'dchei Olam B'yavo Melech HaKavod Mize Melech HaKavod Adonai Zuz V'Gibor Adonai Gibur Milchama, Seu Shearim Rashechem, Useu Pithei Olam Be'avo Melech HaKavod, Mihu Ze Melech HaKavod, Adonai Tzevaot, Melech HaKavod Tzela.
Bottom of page 232 in the blue prayer books, 232.
עץ חיים היא, למחזיקים בה, בתוכחה מאושר דרכיה, דרכי נועם וכל נתיבותיה שלום. השיבנו אדוני אליך ונשובה, חדש ימינו כקדם. Main standing as the ark is closed, page 233.
Aaron will lead us in the Hatzi Kaddish, page 233.
Vikadav, Yikadash, Shmei Rabba. Vilma Jivarach Yurte, Viam with Mafute, Bachayachon, Yomechon, Ufay, Dekobet Yisrael, Bagalav, Izman Kari, Vimaru, Amen. Yehe Shrei Rabba Mevora, La'am Romein Chaya, Yitvara, Yiparach, Vishtabach, Vipar, Viraman, Vietnase, Vitadar, Vitale, Vitala, Shmei Kudasham, Brehu, La'ela, Minkol Birchata, Vishirata,
Tushbechata v'nechemata,
Da'amira Alma, Mimaru, Amen.
We're on page 234B. We'll say the first two pages, 234, 235, together, and then we'll continue in silent devotion. This is our opportunity, as we've been speaking about creating holiness. This is the opportunity as a community that we stand before God. It's a communal event, but it is solely individual. So take the time to read the words in the book or pray the words of your own heart. Close your eyes and meditate. Whatever it is for you to connect, this is your space to do so. Page 234B.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, האל הגדול, הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, גומל חסדים טובים, וגוני הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות, מביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני. מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מחכה חיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו לישני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות ומי דומה לך, מלך ממית ומחיה ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות מתים, ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. נקדש את שמך בעולם כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא זה אל זה ואמר, קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך הארץ כבודו. לעומתם ברוך יאמרו, ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו, ודברי קודשך כתוב לאמור. ימלוך אדוני לעולם, אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור, הללויה. לדור ודור נגיד גודלך, לנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, בשבחך אלוהינו, מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד, כי המלך גדול וקדוש אתה, ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש. Ose shalom mimrama, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imeru imru amen. Yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yase shalom, yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imeru. Amen.
As we turn to page 247, we remain standing for the Kaddish Shalem. I want to invite the Wanger family, Nanette, Marcia, and Barbara to join us up on the bima to open the ark for the Aleinu.
Yikadal v'yikadash me rabba, ve'elmad ivra kirutei, ve'amlich malchutei b'chayachonim v'chonim chayedecho b'et Yisrael, v'galav izman kariv v'imeru. Amen. Yehesh me rabba mevorach, ve'alam u'amei hamaya yitbarach. Yibarach v'yishtabach v'yibra v'yitzon v'yinaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei b'kudusha, v'richu, ve'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, V'shvechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Tikabal sod honavat hon b'chol Yisrael, v'odam avon v'yishmaya v'imeru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imeru. Amen.
As the ark is opened, Aaron will lead us in Aleinu 2:4-8.
Melo samanu mishbechot adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol amonam v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim b'fnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu. Haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, bayom ha'u, yeh Adonai u'shemo echad.
As the ark is closed, you may be seated. It is at this time in our service we'll offer the words of the mourner's Kaddish. If you are in mourning, observing a yurtzeit, I invite you to stand. If you're online joining us, please enable your microphones. As we as a community will support one another, the words of the mourner's Kaddish 249. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra kirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, v'agala uv'izman kariv v'yimru. Amen. Yehi shmei rabba mevorach leolam u'me'omaya. Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. Tadar v'yatale v'yatalal. Shmei dekudusha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'imru. Oseh shalom b'mrama. Shalom. Aleinu ve'akol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. I invite us all to rise as we're going to move into the evening service with the Baruch Hu, page 281. I'll invite Aaron to join us up at his podium, because in just a page he'll be leading us in the Shema. But right now we're on page 281, the call to worship, the Baruch Hu.
והוא רחום יכפר עוון ולא ישחית, וירבה להשיב אפו ולא יראה כל חמתו. אדוני יושיע, המלך יעננו ויום קוראנו. ברכו את אדוני המבורך. ברוך אדוני המבורך לעולם ועד.
Please be seated. We're going to continue top of page 281. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher b'rama sadeh kol chavim yisrael v'kir kirtzon u'bareim v'layla golem ma'avir yom u'mevi layla el hai v'kayam timidim lo chalenu le'olam va'ed
El chai v'kayam tamidim lo chalenu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Hamari v'aravi. Avat olam et Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot v'shudim limadta. Kimcheinu v'rochameinu ואהבתך אל תשים ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני אוהב עמו ישראל.
Aaron will lead us in the Shema, 282.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
ואהבת את אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על בניך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, ושיבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך, ושוכבך ופקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך.
As Aaron takes a seat with his family, we're going to continue middle of 281. נתתי מטרתם בעיתו, יורם וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך למען ויאמר אל המשל
Adonai Elohechem emet.
Emet ve'emunah.
Middle of page 283. Adonai Eloheinu mitzvah kamina kusamo potenu melchim.
נפשנו בחיים ולא לטה,
עושה לנו חקר.
לך במלכתנו. נחמה בכברת. ישרי ים סוף את עודפיהם ועצמיהם.
ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל, לחנו שירה בשמחה רבה ויאמרו כולם, מי כמוך בעלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות תוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע ים לפני משה, זה אלינו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר, כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל ישראל.
Let's read together in the English, 284, the top of the page, 284. Help us, Adonai, to lie down in peace,
and
awaken us again, our sovereign, to life. Spread over us your shelter of peace.
Guide us with your good counsel.
Save us because of your mercy. Shield us from enemies and pestilence, from starvation, sword, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, O God, who watches over us and delivers us, our gracious and merciful ruler. Guard our coming and our going. Grant us life and peace now and always. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Praise are you, Adonai, eternal guardian of your people, Israel.
ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ושלום מעתה ועד עולם. ברוך אתה אדוני, שומר עמו ישראל. ברוך אדוני לעולם, אמן ויאמן.
Baruch Shem kavodo le'olam yimalei kavodo kol haaretz ha'men v'anen yikvod Adonai le'olam. Ki lo yitosh Adonai et hamo ba'avor shemo ha'gadol ki ol yona tzodem pen v'kol ha'mefla. Yom ha'hui echad shemo echad yistech Adonai hina kasher yichanu lach v'she'inu Adonai Elohim b'tzem ha'tzilim ha'goyim. Ki gadol ata v'osim
Blessed is God in the morning, blessed is God in the evening, blessed is God when we lie down, blessed is God in the way. We put each and every moment, put our lives into your hands. Ashrae b'yadon v'shlocha d'lok v'sayish. ונשמע שמך שמך וקיים מלכותך. כי המלכות שלך היא למעט תמלוך בכבוד, כי אין לנו מלך אלא אתה. ברוך אתה אדוני, המלך בכבודו תמיד ימלוך עלינו לעולם ועד ואל כל מעשיו.
Please rise as Aaron will lead us in the Hatzi Kaddish, page 285.
Yekadal v'yekadash shemei rabbah.
Amen.
V'almad v'rak yurtei v'yom likmon v'utei. V'chayachon v'yom echon v'vei dekol beit Yisrael. V'agalau v'zman kari v'yimaru.
Amen.
Amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevorach
le'olam u'le'omayam.
Yiparach v'yishtabach v'yipar v'yitraman v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitale v'yitalash shemei dekudusham.
Brechu.
Le'elav minkol birchata v'shirata. Tushmachata v'nechamata da'amiram be'alma v'yimaru. Amen.
Similar to the Amidah that we had earlier, the devotional prayer, this is said in silence. And this is, again, our opportunity to connect with something greater than ourselves. 286 A or B, 286 to 291. Take a moment to offer your prayers upward. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimroma. Oh, yase shalom. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimroma. Oh, yase shalom. Oh, yase shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimroma. Oh, yase shalom. Oh, say shalom, shalom bimroma. Ooh, yase shalom. We remain standing as Aaron will lead us in the Hatzi Kaddish one last time. 292.
One more time. Yikadav Yikadash Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Vilmad Barak Yurte Vyamlik Mofute Bachayachon Vyomekon Vifay Kobet Yisrael Bagalar Vizman Kari Vimaru.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah
Barak
Barak.
Yibarach Vishtabach Vipar Vitramon Vitnase Vitadar Vitale Vitala Shemeda Gudusha
Brechu.
Laela Minkal Birkata Vishirata Tushpahata Vinechamata Damiram Ba'alma Vimaru. Amen.
Please be seated. We offer a few extra prayers, noting that Shabbat is beginning to wane and we're making our way out from the holiness of Shabbat into the ordinariness of the week. We hold on for just a little longer. A few more prayers, 292 in the middle of the page.
Vayinoam Adonai Eloheinu aleinu ma'aseh yadeinu konana aleinu ma'aseh yadeinu konanei Yoshevet el yom etzel shaddai Adonai Ki hu yatzilcha mipach ikun Tzina mesochra mitov v'yitrei pach halayla v'chitim Yatar emachsi yaviyun santa Orech yamim aspiyeu v'areyu b'yeshuati. Orech yamim aspiyeu v'areyu b'yeshuati. Ata kadosh yoshev tilav Yisrael v'karazel ze ve'amar. Kadosh, 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 Adonai tzvaot. Eloch la'aretz kevodo. Adonai tzvaot milazim. ויבטחו בך יודעי שמך, כי לא עזבת דורשך אדוני, אדוני חפץ למען צדקו, יגדיל תורה וידיר.
Kaddish Shalem, page 294.
יגדל ויקדש שמי רבה,
Amen.
מעמד יברק קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון ומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בגדלה ובזמן קריב ימרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעלמיה, יברך וישתבח ויפאר וישמע ויתנשא, יתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל, שמי דקדושה בריחו, לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, ושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן מעלמה ויאמרו אמן. תגבל סוד הון ועד הון לכל ישראל, קודמו הון וישמעיה ויאמרו אמן. יש למה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, ויעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל, ויאמרו אמן.
Shavua Tov, everybody. Good week. I'm going to share a few words for you because this is unlike other services. The rabbis here aren't in charge. It is the sun. And as the sun still shines just a little bit, we have yet to do Havdalah. So I want to share with you a quick word of Torah. primarily based on what Aaron shared with us today, so that we can make our way into this week and have a little bit of insight from our holy text into how in which we bring the holiness that we experience, that we created here tonight, into the week ahead. So Aaron, so your mom reminded me in her words to you of how long and beautiful this process has been. Usually the parents will make an appointment with me or Rabbi Bluston to talk about the celebration of becoming a bar mitzvah or a bat mitzvah. And the child will be brought in, usually nowadays, staring at their phone. They'll sit slouched in the seat. It doesn't seem like they care at all about what's going on. And that's fine, completely age appropriate. I'm really cool with it. I do remember my own childhood. I was worse than that. But you were different. You were different. I don't know if you remember our coffee date over at Starbucks a long time ago, well before any other young up-and-coming adult would have ever sought to see a rabbi, to meet with a rabbi. And you had all types of questions. And they weren't just questions of, can I do it or should I do it? It's a question of, why should I do it? What will it mean? You had deep questions about theology. You had deep questions about community, about ritual, and it came out in the words that you said. You are what we would call, in the rabbinic tradition, a Maimonidean. You know what that is? The great sage Maimonides of the 12th century understood that the animal sacrifices that were written in the Torah were simply to placate an ancient tradition that had yet to mature, and that eventually the people would grow up, would mature out of that, and they would take on new forms of ritual. Here we are. Aren't you all happy that we didn't slaughter an ox right in front of you? The front row, you should have worn different clothing for that. We have grown and matured. And although our tradition might say that is because we lost the temple in Jerusalem, Maimonides, or a true Maimonidean, as yourself, would have said that it is something that we've grown up, we've matured, our traditions matured out of, and we have still kept those same traditions, those same impulses that make us live a life that is holy. Taking sacrifices and then asking a question, what are you willing to sacrifice in order to have a life of holiness, of righteousness? After all, it's the same question they were asking. Why shouldn't we ask the same questions ourselves? So Vayikra el Moshe is how we begin. The entire book begins with Vayikra el Moshe, that he called out. Who is he? God called out el Moshe to Moses. Now it's interesting because we've been in the midst of a long dialogue between God and Moses. It doesn't seem like it stops. I hope they have a good cell phone plan because it is on overtime. Constant talking back and forth between Moses and God. So why, the sages ask, does our Torah portion, does this book begin with God called out to Moses? They never stopped talking. What is he calling out about? There's an interesting phenomenon, interesting notation in your Chumash. You might have noticed it, I'm not sure. It's so small, it's hard to see. The word Vayikra ends with the letter Aleph, first letter of the Hebrew alphabet. The letter Aleph is interesting because as the first letter, it has what sound? None. It makes no sound on its own. It is completely dependent on the vowels that surround it. Interesting way to start an alphabet with a letter that makes no sound at all. And this word, Vayikra, to call out, ends with that letter. But in our Chumash, in our book, it's written, the letter itself is written small, superscript, up at the top, and it makes you wonder why. And you look at the notes, and if you could read Hebrew, you could read the note, and it says, Aleph Zaira Nusachim Mekabalim. And so you look at that and you say, wisdom is about to be imparted. And then you go and you get your Hebrew dictionaries and you look up, what does Aleph Zaira Nusachim Mekabalim mean? It must be the greatest amount of wisdom that comes into the world. And the note that you find in our Chumash or in any Chumash, any book of Torah from our rabbinic tradition, that phrase will be there to tell you why exactly the Aleph is written in small print. And the words Aleph Zayira, Nusachim Mekabalim means the Aleph is small, as is the tradition of the mystics. That's it. That's all we get. We don't know why it's the tradition of the mystics. We don't know why they would ever do that. But it just happens to be, and we seem to have lost the reason, but we keep the Aleph small. We keep the letter small. But Aaron, I think intuitively you know why it's written small. I know why, because we live in a world, and you know about this world, the world in which everybody is calling out, making noise. That's what we do. We have so much chit chat and chatter that we don't even know what real words are anymore. You've heard the expression, talk is cheap. Talk has plummeted in the last 10, 20 years. Anybody could say anything all the time, and it almost doesn't matter anymore. What we've done to language is criminal. And what this happens with the small aleph that is written in this way changes the word Vayikra to Yikar. Changes the word Vayikra to Yikar, because if you drop off the aleph, even though it doesn't have a sound, the word itself changes. So what does Yikar mean? It means precious. It means expensive. It means that which you can't do without. It is dear to you. Aaron, just like those coffee dates that we had early on, just like the words you share, you resist the chit chat, the drab and dribble, the words that are just sent out into the world that are meaningless. You are careful with your words and you choose them wisely. And when you speak, it's only from a place of wisdom. It isn't just to fill the air. That's the gift you've given me. That's the gift you give to the community in which you now get to be a part of leading. The world is filled with people calling out, but very few of us are doing Vayikar, are doing it with preciousness, with holiness, with choosing our words carefully and choosing words that we mean when we say it. Aaron, this is the greatest gift you could give us to remember on this sacred Shabbat. We're about to go out in the world, and I'll be the first to remind you that when you go outside, you should turn on your cell phones so you don't miss any of the good information. But you know, as you scroll up and down, what you're seeing. You're seeing Vayikra. You ain't seeing Vayikar. And so choose what you look at carefully. Choose what you read carefully. Choose what you share carefully. And choose who you share it with carefully, because your words, Aaron, and all of our words are precious. They lift up or they tear down. And to participate in just the calling out without the depth that our Torah inspires us to do, that you inspire us to do on this day, then we don't participate in that which is holy. So Aaron, thank you for the lesson today. And I look forward to our next coffee date. Shavua Tov, everybody. I'm going to invite up Seth and, where's my page? Elaine, excuse me. Ellen? Did I say it right? I'm sorry. Ellen, to come and open up our ark for Elenu, as Aaron will lead us in the final prayers of Elenu. Please rise. Shalom Sam Helkenu
V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai l'mel.
Please be seated. We continue to walk with those who come morning and evening to our daily service, remembering Lynette Cohen, B. Blass, Stanley Bloomberg, Steve Marcus, Carol Wexler, Harris Pavlot, Pauline Cohen, Dan Melnick, John Sherman McDade, Rose Berman, Bella Hayabatsari, Demetrius Coffey, Steve Wexler, Michael Schaefer, Walter Hirschberg, Eleanor Sims, Ralph Sachs, Kathy Baumgartner Shear, Arnold Landy, Rick Goldstein, Doris Copland, Susan Pollock, Mary Goldstein, Leon Goldstein, Lester Breen, Bruce Romer, Susan Levine Open, Hiram Sturm, Jerry Ashkenazi, Cerise Rubin, Jules Stone, Dale Schindler, Steve Sandusky, Dorothy Eisen, Stanley Kolotkin, Malcolm Minsk, Claire Kirschenbaum, Donald Gilner, Baruch Ben Eliezer, Rosalind Davidson, Rena Bat Yaakov. If I've omitted any names, please forgive me, but know that we walk with you. We hold you during this time as those who are in mourning or observing a yurt site, and those who are online enabling microphones so we could join together with the call and response of the Mourner's Kaddish 298. Yit Gadal, Yit Kadash, Shemei Ramah. Be'alma divra kirute, v'amlit malchute, v'chayachon of yomechon, uv'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, v'agala uvizman kariv, v'yimru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mevorach, leolam umei omaya, yiparach, v'yishtabach, v'yipa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, Shmei de Kudashah, Brichu, La'ela, Minkol, Bechata, Veshirata, Tush Bechata, Venechamata, Da'amiran, Be'alma, V'imru, Amen. Yehei Shlama, Rabba, Min Shemaya, V'chaim Aleinu, Ve'akol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. Oseh Shalom, B'imcha, Huyaseh Shalom, Aleinu, Ve'akol Yisrael, V'imru, Amen. As we get prepared for Havdalah, I want to invite Gary up for a moment to explain a little bit about the pieces of Judaica that we have. We talked about this, Judaica that we have for Havdalah.
Well, we were going to do this, but
No, it's yours.
Gotten this by default. Of course,
Gary, use the microphone.
Of course, we celebrate the leaving of the Sabbath Queen, and we prepare for a post-Sabbath meal, and Aaron will he will be using in the future, but the Kiddush cup that he will drink and say a blessing over the wine. In addition, we share the sweet smell of the end of Shabbat. And we use a spice box, and it contains various spices, and we pass it around to the entire congregation. This is a very special spice box that his mother and I have bought for him, and we've had it for a while. It is engraved Aaron Jackson Bar Mitzvah, 26 Adar, 5780. Today, of course, is
5782.
right. And in addition, we have a Havdalah candle, which is in 4 separate pieces representing the 4 corners of the earth. And it is also in a very special holder that his mother and I, and this is a surprise for you, Gene, is it not, have bought for Aaron to use in the many Shabbats to come and the many mitzvahs that will follow. And it is also dated that day. And look upon this as a remembrance of the long journey into adulthood and many mitzvahs that he has to come in the future. Why don't you come up and tell why this Kiddush cup is so special in our family?
So this Kiddush cup is my father, Louis Saul's Kiddush cup, that he bought in Israel on a mission with two other gentlemen in 1970 or 72, back when Israel was a very different place. And my dad and two other men from Augusta went on a special mission to Israel, and then subsequently came back and tried to raise money for the state of Israel, which I know they were successful. So Dad, thank you for giving Aaron this most special Kiddush cup.
And I apologize for catching the family off guard, but I
That's
did
okay.
my job, and I've been holding that Havdalah set in my office for 2 years, hiding it. So that was my responsibility, and I did my job. So thank you. I want to invite Aaron and the family, please stay up. Izzy, if you come up, Olivia, please come on up.
We'll rise together as the candle is lit and as we separate between Shabbat and our week.
If you'd like to follow along with the prayers, you'll find them on page 299.
Let's take that Aleph that Rabbi Rosenthal talked about as we bring it into the end of our Shabbat. I invite you to raise up your voices like this. That's the whole thing. Give it a try. One more time. Hine el Yeshuati, Ftach v'lo yochad, Ki uzi v'zimrat ya Adonai, Vayehi li Yeshua. Repeat after me. Ushaftemayim, Bissason, Mimanei, HaYeshua, Ladonai, HaYeshua, Alamcha v'yirchatecha seva. Yiraz. Adonai Tzvaot Imanu Miskav Lanu Elohei Yaakov Selah. Repeat after me. Adonai Tzvaot Ashrae Adam Boteach Bach Adonai Oshia. Together Hamelech Yaneinu V'yom Koreinu. After me La Yehudim Hayta Ora V'simcha V'sason V'ikar. Together Kenti Elanu Kos Yeshuot Asa U'v'shem Adonai Ekra. Let me hear those eyes one more time.
Baruch atah
Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam.
Borei peri hagafen, borei peri hagafen. Ay da 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 da. Ay da 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 da.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam. Borei minei besamim, borei minei besamim.
Ay da 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 da. Yalla la ay ay da da da. Ay da 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 da. Yalla la ay ay da da da.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam. Borei melorei ha'esh, borei melorei ha'esh.
Ay da 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 da. Yalla la ay ay da da. Ay da 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 da. Yalla la ay ay da da. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lechol bino lechoshech ben Yisrael amim ben yom hashvi sheshet yamei hamaseh Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh lechol. Ay da 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 da. Yalla la ay da 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 da. Ay da 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 da. Yalla la ay da 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 da.
There's a tradition that the length of the sizzle will determine how good of a week it'll be. I will try.
Eliyahu atishmi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu agiladi, bimera b'yameinu, Yavo eleinu, Mashiach ben David, Mashiach ben David, Miriam Neviah, Oz v'Zimra beyada, Miriam tirkod itanu, leagdil Zimrat olam, bimera v'yameinu, Itevienu El Mea Yeshua, El Mea Yeshua, El Mea Yeshua, Shavua Tov, 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 Shavua Tov. Simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov, simen tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, simen tov. Yelanu, 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 ulechol Yisrael. Yelanu, yelanu, ulechol Yisrael. Mazel tov, mazel tov, simen
tov, siman tov, mazel tov, mazel tov, siman tov, mazel tov, siman tov, yelanu.
Thank you all. My bad. Shabbat Shalom. Thank you all for coming here tonight. We got a little thing next, the bus, car, whatever. Yeah, again, thank you all for coming. And night's not over yet, so.
And there is a bus that will leave when full and make several trips for all the young people and those who just want to ride. So we'll look out for that.
Can I please go on the bus?
Sure, wait, we're going to take a few pictures. We're going to take a few pictures. The party really doesn't start till 8 o'clock at Folding Warehouse. They're outside on blue copy paper or directions on Google directions. Don't use MapQuest because the streets are all incorrect on MapQuest. So the directions are out on a table on blue paper. Okay. And we will see y'all at the party.
Mazel tov, Jean. It was
Oh.
beautiful.
No, Rabbi,
I know you're so proud.
Just have lots of mazel. He's darling.
Mazel tov, Jean, Gary, Izzy, Aaron. I'm just so disappointed that I couldn't be there. Have a wonderful, wonderful night celebrating. Aaron, you were awesome, truly awesome.
Your chat will be part of the tape.
Double mazel tov from Susan.
And Neil.
Just a beautiful evening. Sorry we couldn't be there with you either. Mazel, mazel.
It was truly a beautiful evening and a wonderful experience. Thank you so much.
Party next.
Aaron, we got to pick up candy.
Yeah,
Megan, would you help?
You guys, the people were great throwers, by the way.
Hey, Michael.
It was a beautiful service, a beautiful ceremony, so inspiring and impressive. So sorry we couldn't be there, but thank you for including us on the Zoom. Vicky and Bobby Krawcheck.